Growing up, I won 2 gold medals. I won a gold medal with Kevin Durant, and I won a gold medal with Greg Oden. I don't have them. I don't know who I gave them to, but I gave them away. My state championship ring, I don't have it. I don't know who I gave it to, but I gave it away. My Jordan Classic, Michael Jordan gave you a ring. I don't know who I gave it to, gave it away. My first ever plaque, I was 10 years old. I won a shootout plaque, and as soon as I got it, it meant so much to me. But I knew it would mean more to my grandmother. Gave it to my grandmother, my first ever. How often do you get a chance to put a smile on somebody's face, man? How often do we? When you get those opportunities, man, it goes a long way. I believe so, man. I do, man. I really do, man. It's one thing when people do it and they doing it for the attention. There's different ways in doing it, man. And only you know when you just doing it in this peer. And only you really know. Only you know. If it's for the right reason, you feel that way, man, you go with your heart. Go with your heart, man. Don't think twice. It is what it is.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Jason Scalora Show. This is episode, I don't even know what episode we're on. We're in probably 50, something like that. Back today with Paul Harris. I don't even, it's actually a funny story how you and I met. We started our business about a year ago, and there's my friend, he plays on the soccer team here at Central, and our mission was like, okay, we don't know how the hell we're going to get clients, but what we're going to do is get work and maybe give them a discount or do it for free and say, hey, hook us up with somebody you know. And Joey, he's a soccer player, he worked at Vail, and he knew Ed Battle, and he was like, yeah, actually I know this guy Ed, I work for him, he has a couple teams that he has, do whatever. Maybe you could do some work for him. Maybe, there's a potential for some business there. I was like, cool. Gets us in contact with Ed. We go out. We film Talented at their tournament. First off, we were blown away by these young ballers, man, just absolutely smoking teams. And we mic'd up one of the coaches at one of the games, and sure enough, it's freaking you. And then we got to talking, and then we came out to a couple of your training camps over the summer, and then our relationship kind of developed from there. So it was just like, it's weird how you could plant one seed with some kid that you grew up with in high school that plays soccer in college now, and now we're sitting here across from each other. And it's just crazy how, like, if you just put in the effort to just get your name out there and to just try, that things are just going to come into your life that you would have no idea would even exist. So that's how you and I met, for a little background on how we're sitting here today. But what I would like to hear from you personally, honestly, is like your story, and take as much time as you need. I kind of want to hear give the basic details where you grew up, how things went, especially with basketball and in your career, and then kind of into the man you are today and the father that you are today.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting how we met too, though, Jace. I mean, I believe in energy, man, and
absolutely.
You and Cal, man, you guys both had great energy, man, from the beginning when I first seen you guys. So it was a great connection, man. Mm-hmm. I was really thankful and glad that you guys came to the camp. Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah. It wouldn't have been the same without you guys. I really mean that from my heart, man. I always say that, man. I always give you guys praise. And you don't even know the people that I mention you guys to. Outside of this, outside of us talking, never even tell you. Yeah. Just send people your Instagram all the time. I do it, man. So really much love and respect to you, both of you guys. I really mean that, man. And for me, man, I'm from a small city, Niagara Falls, upstate New York. The American side, not the Canadian side. I gotta be clear, because when I say Niagara Falls, the first thing people say is Canada. Yeah. So I'm like, no, American side. Yeah. It's a small city, 48,000 people. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's family. On my mother's side, it's she has 11 siblings, and on my father's side, it's eight boys.
Holy crap!
So when you spread that out amongst a small city, I mean, my family is it's deep, man.
That's crazy.
Really, honestly, man.
That's crazy.
No, it really is.
Holy crap.
Honestly. So you can just imagine how holidays was.
Oh my gosh.
I would split them and go to my mother's side first. Yeah. And crazy cousins everywhere, just a packed house.
That's awesome, though.
At nighttime, I would go to my grandmother's on my father's side. So, yeah, I come from a big family, and basketball is just embedded in my family. All my uncles played, and my dad always kept the ball around, put the ball in my hand early. I started at 7. I was playing at the YMCA. Actually, crazy story, man. I was actually I was skipping school. Man. I'll never forget this. I was like maybe like 10 years old. And I remember skipping school, and the YMCA van rides up 10th Street, where I'm from, the east side of Niagara Falls. And my uncle Dexter, was in the van, and a guy named Sal Constantino. And my uncle screamed out, like, "Boy, what are you doing?" He seen me, and I like jumped, and then he put me in the YMCA van, and he took me to the Y, told my mother, and my father called him. And then that guy, Sal Constantino, he gave me a membership to the YMCA. So that was something that kind of like saved me.
Wow.
You know, it's funny how basketball can just, do so much. And I became a member, and that was like my home. I would be at the YMCA on Christmas, on my birthday, like all the time, man. I just lived there, man. Yeah, so it's it definitely was a long journey. I remember 7th grade. Fast forward to 7th grade, I'm playing on the JV team, and I get moved up at the end of the year to varsity. Only person in Niagara Falls history to ever play varsity basketball in the 7th grade. So at the end of the year, I end up finishing, getting the game. I scored. So now I'm coming in as this 8th grader. Everybody knows. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows the newspaper. Next thing you know, I'm ineligible 8th grade. My grades, I didn't have the right grade, so I wasn't able to play in 8th grade. So 9th grade come, I'm ineligible in 9th grade. 10th grade come, I remember 10th grade, I got in trouble. So I missed 8th grade, 9th grade, and 10th grade. I didn't play no more since 7th grade.
And Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and then I moved to Buffalo, my AAU coach. I moved to Buffalo. And a lot of people, I really haven't told too many people this, but I moved to Buffalo in the 10th grade. I moved to Buffalo with my coach, Jeff Bishop. So I'm living in Buffalo, and I remember I went to Bennett High School, and the best team in Buffalo at that time was Seneca. They had a really, really great team. And one of the best guys, he played my position. His name was DeJuan Strauss. And I remember playing in the summer leagues. We played them in the championship. And I remember beating them. And I remember saying to myself, I feel like I'm the best player in Buffalo. And then 2 weeks later, we played a championship game at Turner Carroll High School. We played against Niagara Falls High School, where I'm from. So I know all of these guys. They had a very, very great team. Jeff Palmer, he went to Providence, still playing professional right now, 13th year professional. And they had a guy named Robert Harris. He's a guy that I always battled when I was younger. I never was better than him. Never. And we played them in the championship game, and I remember hitting the half-court buzzer beater, and I had 22 points, and we beat them. And I remember saying to myself, when we beat them, I feel like I'm the best player in Western New York. But it hasn't been on the mainstream yet. Yeah. It's only been in the rec leagues and, the summer leagues. So now the beginning of the season, getting ready to start, I got everything together, going to school, I'm on the right path. And the next thing you know, I found out I was ineligible. So I leave. I was just devastated. So this is another year that I haven't played again. In the first game of the season, you can't even make this stuff up, man. This is just God. The first game of the season was Niagara Falls High School versus Seneca.
Nah.
The first game of the year. And it was at a college, Buff State. And this is usually you play these games before you go to the state finals.
Yeah.
But they had this at Buff State, 5,000 people. I'm in the stands. I remember being in the stands,
Oh.
and I'm watching the game. And I remember all you hear was Harris, Harris, Harris. But it was Robert Harris. He had 42 points. And everybody coming up to me, they just tapping me on the shoulder. When you going to get it together, man? When you going to get your act together? You should be out there. You should be out there. Everybody telling me this, but nobody's coming to me concerned, trying to help me. They all telling me what I should be doing, but nobody's trying to help me. So I put my hoodie on during the game because I was just so embarrassed. And a guy came up to me. I don't even know who it is to this day. He whispered in my ear. He said, the best player in this gym is in the stands right now. And when he said that, I felt that. And I left. I didn't finish the game. And I caught the bus. I was in Buffalo. I caught the bus home to Niagara Falls. And I just remember crying the whole way, man. Just crying, like, yo, man. Like when am I going to really get it together? Like, I'm running out of time. And my dad, he kept me with him the whole time, the whole school year. Like, if I went to the store, I had to go with my dad everywhere. He made sure I didn't get in no trouble. I couldn't touch a ball. I couldn't play basketball at all for months. And then finally, I got my grades together. I got them up. And my AAU coach, he asked my dad, he said, hey, is it okay if he play? My dad said no. He let a whole nother month go by. And then my coach asked him again, and he said, yes, only if I come. So my dad, we go on this AAU trip, right? Pennsylvania. Small gym. Go here. I haven't touched the ball in probably, 4 months. No practice, no nothing. I remember at this tournament, I dominated, like just killed, man. And the guy came out of the stands and he said, you shouldn't be here. And I was thinking, because before that, parents, you just think I was too old. Like, you too old. My dad used to have to bring my birth certificate. So I thought it was a parent doing this. But he said, no, man, you shouldn't be here. He got on the phone right in front of me and he called a guy from DC. His name was Curtis Malone. He said, I have a kid here. He's like Magic Johnson. And Curtis Malone, he was the founder of DC Assault, big name in AAU business, big name. He didn't put a lot of guys to pro, like Mike Beasley, Nolan Smith, so people know him. So we flew out, me and my AAU coach flew out to DC. Curtis never seen me, don't know what I look like. I remember getting down there. He said, you know what? I don't want you playing with your age. He didn't let me play with Michael Beasley and Nolan Smith. He made me play with the 17-year-olds. We played against Big Baby, Glenn Davis. If you know Glenn Davis, he was even bigger in high school, like 300 pounds. So he made me guard Big Baby because I was the same size I am right now.
Yeah.
In ninth grade.
That's
same
crazy.
size, 215. And I played great defense on Big Baby. And Curtis Malone sent me to ABCD camp, the biggest camp that you can imagine in the world in basketball. So I go to ABCD camp, and I go there. I remember seeing Dwight Howard, J.R. Smith, Josh Smith, Sebastian Telfair, Sean Livingston, all of these guys going straight from high school to the league at this camp. So I go there, I play great D, I leave the camp, I'm ranked 14th in the country. So I go from 7th grade on varsity, 8th grade ineligible, 9th grade ineligible, 10th grade didn't play, to next thing you know, I'm 14th in the country. I come back home that summer, and I was in my first magazine. I remember being at the store at Tops, man, with my father. And my father got the magazine, and he just screamed. That's how my dad, he really is, he's like that. He just screamed, that's my son, it's my son right here. And he bought all the magazines right then and there, man. And ever since then, man, I just I got my act together, man, and God just gave me multiple chances, man. He never left me, man. He never left me, Jace.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Holy crap. So your dad played a huge role in that.
Oh yeah. No. My dad, he played. He played the role. He kept me, straight, man. I mean, you gotta understand, like when you from a small place like Niagara Falls, so much poverty, man. So much poverty. It's easy, to like you go into school and I mean, this is just real. I just gotta be honest, man. Like going to school, not having much. You know what I'm saying? I'm not having 10 pairs of sneakers. So you see the guys who's selling drugs, you see them, and you like, yo, should I try that? Should I try that? Like, why do I gotta have one pair of sneakers and these guys coming fresh all the time? So those temptations, you see this while you going to school. You know what I mean? You seeing all of this. You seeing the gambling right in front of you. Like in Niagara Falls, like guys gamble right on the corner. So you looking at this fast money, you seeing all of this, and people that if you're not from there, or you're not from that environment, you don't understand how people have talent and have this and that, and how do they go that way and go off? Because you're human. You're human, man. And I went those directions. I have. But God always been with me, man. He always been with me. It may took longer, but he brought me to the other side and got me back on the right path. So I know, like, my story, it goes with so many kids out there, man. That's why, like, when I go to the Philippines and I pull up to the red light and you see a baby and you see, brothers and siblings don't have shoes on, babies don't have diapers. Like, I'm looking at that like, yo, man, I come from probably not all the way that, but I come from that poverty. I understand that. I understand those things, man. I do. That's why I can relate all across the world, man. Even when I go to Turkey, like, I relate to those people. I go out and I visit the schools. I visit I go to those things. I make sure. Like, I even ask my team, like, yo, are we doing this? We don't have to. Okay, I want to do it. And you know what? I'm going to get our center to do it with us. I don't think he'll do it. No. He'll do it with me. Don't worry. Because it's very important, man. It's very important so those kids can see, like, yo, all right, it is a chance. I do have a chance. That's why I know it's time for me to get out there and share my true story. It is.
Wow. So what do you think was the difference? Like, because obviously people that come from that kind of background and in that upbringing, especially in an area like that, like, they don't all make it the way you made it. Like, what was the difference?
I would say, man, like, my dad was definitely hard. My dad was hard on me. He definitely played a big role. My parents separated. So, like, sometimes in the house I can get away with certain things, but my dad will come around and he'll get me back on the right path. And I think, man, just seeing other guys that I felt like I was better than, seeing them in the newspaper, seeing them people talking about them, I'm like, yo, man, like, I know I'm better than that person. I do need to get it together. And it just I just did, man. I did.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No.
So what did that look like for you in the off season?
After that happened, when that happened, after I came back to high school, so I left ABCD camp.
Yeah.
After I left ABCD camp, and I came back with so much hype.
Yeah.
Like, so much hype for the high school season. And now all the games are sold out. Everything. I'm talking about people I had to look through windows to come and see the game. Because not only do I have a big family, I'm really in the inner city. Yeah. Like I'm really there. Like you probably just seen me last night gambling with me or something, and then the next morning I'm on the front page of the newspaper. So those people, I was giving hope to the real, if you want to call it the inner city hood, whatever you want to call it. So all of those people are piling up at the gym, man. I'm talking about they wanted to move our games to the college, but our head coach, he said no. He just felt like our high school was
the atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he felt like. Yeah.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that? Was that your junior year or senior year of high school?
Junior.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, what did it look like from junior to senior year?
From junior year,
and how did you perform?
I got player of the year. I got player of the year. That was my junior year, my first year at high school. I got player of the year of Western New York. Now I'm going into AAU season that summer. I remember we got our Adidas deal. So now we signed with Adidas. So now it's just like how EYBL is. Mm-hmm. So now we plan on that circuit. Mm-hmm. So now college coaches coming to see me. They can come to see other players. So now I'm not just only making a name for me. It's making a name for, the city, the other teammates, everything. Mm-hmm. We have a great summer. And I remember going to Adidas camp. Because now we sponsored by Adidas. Now I can't go to, I shouldn't go to ABCD. You got to go with the sponsorship. So I go to Adidas, and I remember getting MVP of the whole camp. And I remember leaving, and I went from 14th in the country to 25. And I was like, and I'm not even a person that's like big on rankings, especially at a young age. I'm not a person that's big on it. But that, I was really confused. So what I noticed, ABCD has more talent at that camp than Adidas. Sonny Vaccaro, his name, his word meant more. So now, going into next summer, they called me and wanted me to come back to ABCD. And Sonny said, listen, you get to bring someone with you. So now I'm thinking, we're with Adidas. Do I leave and go to ABCD? My AAU coach said, listen, Adidas said if you don't show up, they're going to take the sponsorship. So now I'm thinking in my head, first of all, I'm thinking, who do I bring? So at the time, it was a guy named Rodney Pierce from Buffalo. He went to University of Buffalo. My teammate, Robert Garrison, he went to UConn. And a young Johnny Flynn. Those two guys at the time could have been a little bit better because they was older. But Johnny, I knew, man, he had big hands, he had big feet, and most importantly, he was a competitor like me. When we would play pickup ball, he would say, yo, Doug, that's what they call me, Dougger. Yo, put me on the opposite team as you and want to guard me. He did stuff that I did. So I said, man, they probably going to be mad at this. I went to Johnny Flynn's house, and I told his father and his mother, I want to bring Johnny to ABCD. And everybody like, yo, but Rodney and Robert Garrison, older, I'm like, nah, I know who the one. So I brought Johnny to ABCD. Johnny leaves. He leaves ABCD. He leaves Niagara Falls. He goes to ABCD. Our AAU team, Rodney, Garrison, Terrell Lynch, they all go to Adidas camp. I'm in Niagara Falls. Missed the first day. My AAU coach come to me like, yo, listen, they're going to take the sponsorship, man, if you don't come, man. Like, you have to. You the face of Adidas. They making you the face. I'm like, yo, man, the best player in the country at that time was O.J. Mayo. He was like LeBron James on front of every magazine, everything. Sonny Vaccaro told me, if you come to ABCD, you'll get matched up against O.J. Mel on the main court. That's all I was thinking, the best, the best, the best. I missed 2 days. Camp is only 5. Camp is like 6 days. I'm thinking. I'm like, yo, man, I don't want to do this to my AAU team, lose the sponsorship. I missed 3 days. I tell my AAU coach, man, listen, I did everything I could for the program, helping guys out. I'm going, my heart is telling me to go to ABCD. So I leave, I show up 3 days late. First game, just getting my legs under me. Second game, I'm back. Third, O.J. Mel, the main court. When I say everybody surrounding the court, everybody. I'm talking about like NBA scouts, every college coach you can name. Danny Ainge, NBA scout, everybody's there, right? Now, O.J. Mel, much respect to him. I'm talking about he's a great player. We had a lot of battles over the years. Nothing but respect to him. Game, jump ball, full court on O.J. Mel. Ripped him at half court. He ended up going 1 for 10. 1 for 10. And now, once the game is over, I remember my phone ringing, and it was my AAU coach and my whole AAU team in the background like, yo, everybody down here talking about it, yo. You said you was going to lock him up. Yo, you did it. They all talking about it, yo. I can't believe it, Doug. You did it. You did it. So I'm walking through at ABCD, and everybody looking at me. Everybody. They bring me into where they have the shoes. They have like 1,000 shoes. Like, yo, get anything you want. I'm like, I'm okay now. No, get anything, any size. So I just started throwing shoes in there for my father, my friends, and just bring it back home. And now I have a sit down with Sonny Vaccaro. I had a sit down. It's a huge table. Brings me in there, and he said, the NBA scouts are talking about you. They saying, like, you physically, you ready. I was 6'4", 215, stronger than everybody. And he said, I can push for you to go from high school straight to the league. Now, mind you, they stopped the rule. After 2000, the year before, Dwight Howard, Sebastian Telford, Josh Smith, all those guys, like 8 guys, went from high school to the pros, first round. Yeah. And then they stopped it. But the thing is, I would have had to go to prep school 1 year removed from high school, and I would have been 19. So I would have been the first person. Brandon Jennings ended up being the first person, but I would have been the first person. I told Sonny, like, listen, I always want to go to Syracuse, man. So I'm gonna go to college. But I had opportunity to go straight out of high school.
Holy crap.
Honestly, yo.
What was it about Syracuse?
I mean, yo, man, it's close to home, man. I'm a family guy.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm used to having, like, 20 people at my game, 20, like, family members that came and I had to leave tickets for.
Yeah.
So it's not a far drive.
Yeah.
And you go into that dome, yo. Only place in the country have 30,000 fans. 30? Madison Square Garden is 20, 19.5. The dome is 30, yo. That's different, yo. You get 17,000 when you're warming up. The dome is different, yo. It's just different, Jason. It's different, man.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So what did those 4 years look like?
Actually, Jay, I left a year early. I didn't go 4 years. I went 3 years at Syracuse. So I went my freshman year. My freshman year, what people don't understand is, too, I was picked out of high school, 2006, Blue Ribbon Freshman of the Year. You can look it up, Google it. 2006. This is over the number 1 player in the country, Greg Oden, and over the number 2 player in the country at the time, Kevin Durant. They picked me to win Freshman Newcomer of the Year. So with so much hype with me, I end up averaging like 8.7 rebounds for the regular person or a regular freshman. That would have been like great.
Yeah.
But with the expectations of me, most people look at it like I didn't have a great year.
Yeah.
And now my sophomore year, I come back and I was playing the 4 at Syracuse. Freshman year, down low in the zone. Probably out of position.
Yeah.
I was usually a guard, 2-3. We got 2 injuries. Eric Devendorf was out and Andy Routens, 2 of our guards.
Yeah.
So now coach puts me at the 2. I go off. I make second team all Big East, average 15 points, 8 rebounds as a sophomore. Yeah, playing 36, almost 37 minutes a game.
Oh, my God.
I was in the best shape of my life. And a lot of people was like, yo, you should enter the draft after that, because that was a great year. But I always wanted to come to college and play in the NCAA tournament. We didn't make it. We went to the NIT. I'm like, I can't leave on a note like that.
Yeah.
And then I come back my junior year, have a, decent year, I don't know what, probably like 13 and 8, something like that, decent year. And then I entered the draft after my junior year. Yeah, so, and I went undrafted. I remember when I entered the draft, and I remember it was June 25th, 2009. And I remember that early that day, one of my cousins, I seen him, and he was asking me, where's the draft party going to be? So I told him, my mom's house, yeah, everybody going to be there. And I didn't show up. Then the reason why I didn't show up is because I knew that it's a possibility that I wouldn't get drafted. And I'm always prepared for the worst. But I knew, like my father and my cousin, I knew if I didn't get drafted, that would be devastating to them. And I didn't want to see that. So nobody knew where I was at. I went and I got a hotel by myself. Didn't tell nobody. And I remember watching the draft. I turned the draft on, and I'm watching it, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. The number 1 pick, Blake Griffin. Number 2, Hasheem Thabeet. Number 3, James Harden. Number 4, Tyreke Evans. Number 5, Ricky Rubio. Number 6, Johnny Flynn, my good friend. When he got drafted, I remember I was happy for him. Text him, I was happy. Number 7, Steph Curry. And I remember the first round, it's getting towards the end. And I remember I had a great workout with Cleveland and a great workout with Chicago, like great workouts. Cleveland, I think, had the 30th pick. So I'm like, it's a possibility. And they took, I think, Christian Yainga. So, all right, second round comes. I'm like, this is where I belong. Most people saying I'll be second round. So the first 10 go by. I'm like, oh, man. The next 10 go by. I'm like, oh. And my name pops up at the bottom. Best available, one of the best availables. And I turned the TV off on the last 5 picks. Waited like 15 minutes. And I turned my phone over. And I don't have no missed calls, no text messages. So I'm thinking to myself, like, I was going to get a text from my cousin, like, yo, we in New York, we in L.A., cousin. And I remember turning the TV back on, and I had to wait to the bottom of the screen. It's like NHL, then NBA. NBA come. First round go by. Second round, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. No Paul Harris. Turn the TV off. I say my prayers. And at that time, the first person come to my mind out of everybody is my father, because I know how hard this is going to be on my father. Biggest fan. You know what I'm saying? The person who put the ball in my hand. I know how hard this is going to be on him. So I leave and I go straight to my father's house. And I knocked on the door. Now, my father's not a little guy. He's a big guy. He lived on the second floor. Knocked on the door. He opened his window. "Who the F is at my door?" I said, "It's me, Daddy, it's Duggar." And then it just got silent. And in about 2 seconds, it's like he just flew downstairs. My dad opened the door, man. And my dad cried in my shoulder, man. And this was like the first time I ever seen my dad cry, man. And he was just like, "What we gonna do, man? Like, yo, they didn't draft my son. They didn't draft you." And then I look at my dad. I'm like, "Dad, it's all right, man. It's all right. I gotta put in more work. It ain't over. I gotta keep grinding. No, it ain't over." And then you can see it's like life just jumped right back into my dad. He looking like my son ain't down. Like, he not down. And then he like got it together. I said, "It ain't over." I said, "Tomorrow I'll be to get you 7 o'clock. We're gonna go shoot." So I went. I got my father. He was waiting on the curb early in the morning the next day, waiting on the curb for me. Got my father and my 2 best friends, Travis and my friend Slop. Got them, and we went to Nag University. I love Nag University. I always had access to the gym there. Went there, and on the way there, I told them, don't stay in the house. Don't be depressed. Don't feel down. All the stuff I accomplished, I'm a Jordan All-American. I went to the Cuse, scored over 1,200 points. And most importantly, I ain't done. I told all 3 of them that. And they just rebound for me. I just was there. And I just shot. And I shot. And I shot. And then I went in the pool. Then I came back. I shot more. Then I went on the treadmill. I ran. Then I shot more. I stayed there all day with them, and they stayed in there with me the whole time, man. And then after that, I kept going, man. I kept going. I went to Utah Jazz. I got invited to, no, it wasn't, yes, it was Utah Jazz. I got invited to Utah Jazz training camp. And I remember I got in so much great shape. I'm talking about like I never was in this type of shape. And I go to Utah. Darren Williams texts me. This is D. Will and at his peak. He texts me like, "Yo, we hooping. Training camp starts September 23rd. So we doing pickup before training camp start. September 21st. D. Will throwing me lobs. He's throwing me lobs. I'm like, yo, I'm making this team. And I remember I went for a rebound, and I just came down on my ankle, man. And it was just like, it was like the biggest, man, it was just like, yo, I never seen an ankle like that. Like I couldn't do nothing. I was out like 8 months, man. 8 months on an ankle injury like that. And, man, it was bad. And I remember after that, I left. I stayed with the Jazz for a couple months, treatment. Went home. And I remember I was gaining weight, not being able to run and nothing. I was getting bigger. And I was up to the same thing I was doing when I was younger. I started like gambling more, you know what I'm saying? Just not in the right mind frame no more, man. And I just remember one day. Sorry.
You're straight.
I remember one day I went to one of my former teammates, James Starks. He had like I think it might have been either a birthday party or a Super Bowl party because he won a Super Bowl. Played with him in high school. And I'm going to his party, a couple of my friends. And I remember walking through the door, and I remember his mom came over, and somebody was gonna make me pay. And his mom was like, Duggar shouldn't pay. And she gave me a hug. So I'm walking in, and I heard somebody say, yo, that's Duggar right there. I didn't see him, I heard him. And then I heard the person who they was with say, man, he right here with us, man. He ain't make it. I heard that. And when they said that, I turned around, and the people I was with was like, yo, where you going? I said, I'll be right back. I turned around, and I walked right out the party. And I walked. And now, mind you, in Niagara Falls, I can't walk a block without somebody pulling over and wanting to give me a ride. So as I'm walking, everybody, yo, you need to beeping at me. I'm like, no, I'm good. I just kept walking. And I walked all the way to Abbott. It's a track. And I walked there. It was maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. And I just walked around the track, and I just was telling God, like, I don't want to be stuck here. Don't let me be stuck here. And I just was crying like, man, I don't want to be stuck here, God. Please don't let me be stuck here, man. And I remember that, man. I was just looking up in the sky. I was looking up in the sky, man. I just was telling them, like, nah, man, I don't want to be stuck here. Don't let it happen. And I went across the street. I stayed up there till like 6 in the morning, Jay. It was like 6 in the morning, man. Stayed out there. I did. And I walked across the street. To my friend. To my best friend's house. And I told him, like, yo, just give me a bus ticket. Give me a bus ticket. I don't need no money for no sneakers or nothing. Just give me a bus ticket. And he was like, nah, here. I was like, no, I just want a bus ticket. I'm gone, yo. He got me a bus ticket, and I went to, came up here to Somers, Connecticut. I had a buddy of mine lived in Somers, Connecticut, and I stayed up here, and I got my ankle better. I had to miss the whole year of basketball. I didn't even watch it, man. I didn't even watch college. I didn't watch NBA. I didn't want to hear about no basketball. And all I did was was getting my ankle better. And I was just training at the LA Fitness in Springfield, man. Just there. I would go there. He would drop me off at like 8 in the morning, man. 7, 8 in the morning. And he just wouldn't come back and get me until 9 at night. I'm just staying. I'm like, yo, I just stayed there. I remember I weighed like 252 pounds, yo. I played at 222. So I was bigger, and I was just in the sauna, just training, just making up all kind of hard type of drills. And just, if I can do it, it's too easy. I was just doing all kind of things. Got into great shape. My ankle, I fully recovered, and I went to the D-League. I went to the main Red Claws, and I was playing with Danny Ainge's son, Austin Ainge. He brought me up early, got me in even better shape, and had a great beginning of the season there. And a scout came to watch me from the Philippines, Norman Black, Coach Norm. And he was telling me about the Philippines, and I left, man. I'm like, yo, I'm going to take it. I'm going to go, man. And then I go to the Philippines, man, and I tell people, yo, like the Philippines, man, it just put like a whole new life into me, man. Those people, the love that they have there, like just the average person you see is just loving them, man. And they built me up. They don't even understand how much they built me up, man. And I got myself back into like actually just loving the game, just having the pure love for basketball, and end up winning the championship, end up just meeting some people that I still talk to this day, like Jimmy Alapag, you know, just, man, the Philippines, man, that was, God knew what I needed. You know, at the time of my life, the way how I was moving, probably getting drafted, probably would have been even devastated more, a worse story. And I understand that. So that's why I don't look at it like, yo, if I would have, nah, I'm right where I should be. The things happen how they were supposed to happen. And I don't look back and say, yo, nah. It happened how it was supposed to happen. And I don't have like no regrets. Like I really don't. I don't, man. And I went on to play and travel the world, France, Italy, Turkey, you know, just all over with the game of basketball, place I never even heard of before. And it was just all because of that basketball, man.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah, nah, Jay. Yeah, no.
People need to hear that, man.
Nah, you're right, man. You're right.
Because
you're right.
I mean, I can't even imagine. Like, growing up there and then the highs and the lows are just, I can't even imagine how, whew.
Yeah, and you know something about it is, the thing about it that really hurts though is a part of me, because of my upbringing and certain things, like I love family. I do. I love my family with all my heart. But sometimes, like, I don't even go home as much as I should and much as I used to, because being home hindered me sometimes. Like, I would be at Syracuse and I would be rushing back home for no reason, where I should have just stayed right on campus. So I'm home so much. We got practice the next day, but I'm home rushing to get to practice early in the morning, rushing to get to school early. You know what I'm saying? All of those things. I was so like, you know, home. You know, and then finally, when I left, it was like I left. You know, I miss like birthdays, missing holidays. And it's like, you know, and I think about that. It'd be hard sometimes for me to even go back home. It do, you know.
Why was it hard?
I don't know, Jay. I wonder if it's, I don't know, if it's some trauma. Honestly, yo. Cause it don't be easy for me to just go home, yo. It's not, and I love my mom, my dad, you know what I'm saying? I miss those people, I really do.
Of course.
Like if you know how I am,
yeah.
You know I've always been about family, yeah. And people close to me, and gatherings and things like that, you know. But I'm definitely gonna get home soon. I am. I have to. No, I have to.
Do you think a part of it was not even necessarily your family, but the habits that came along with being in that environment?
I mean,
because when you left and you came up to Summers, everything turned. Like, obviously that was of your own mindset, but part of that is leaving that environment where I don't know if you were still, whether you were gambling or doing whatever, that were maybe some vices or old habits or whatever it may be that is associated with that area of your life, with being in that environment. And it's not even necessarily having anything to do with your parents or with your family, but with the people in that environment that could have been bringing you down. Do you think that it's something along those lines, or?
I do. I think it has something to do with that as well. Because, I mean, once I would say this. Once I got married, like those habits like went away. Like I didn't even think about them. You know, I didn't even think about those habits no more. You know what I mean? So you can break them. You could. You know, they all can be broken. But during that time, if I was there, yeah, it's no way to get around it. It's no way to get around it, man. You know, because you seeing it. You're gonna be around it. You see it. You can't miss it. You know.
How did getting married change that for you?
I mean, my wife, man, you seen her, Jay. She pushed me, man. Like she's probably one of the few people who actually like really challenged me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm used to being like, nah, you know, I'm gonna do this no matter what. It is what it is. And it's like, nah, that ain't the right thing to do. What do you mean? Like you got this responsibility over here. And it's like, you know, so she challenged me early. And that actually gravitated me more towards her being challenged like that.
Wow. You met her in college?
Yeah, I met her. I wish I would have met her freshman year. I wish. It was like actually right when I was leaving. Like honestly, like right around now, coming into March. Yeah. I think we were headed to maybe Sweet 16 or something like that. So March, middle of March or something like that.
Wow.
Just matter, yeah. A couple years too late. Yeah. Because you don't know how things would have played out.
That's crazy. She's amazing.
No,
she's
she
amazing.
Is, Jay.
You know, it's funny because I didn't even know she was your wife. And for background, like when I was filming your camp, I didn't even know that was your wife. All I knew is that I was like, I don't know who this lady is, but she's whipping these kids into shape, man. Like they respond to you, but man, did they respond to her.
No, she got a different voice.
It was crazy. And it wasn't even like she wasn't being mean. She was just like a presence in the middle of the court. And she's like, what are you doing? Get over here. And all the kids, dead silent. You can hear a pin drop. Yeah. And everyone's just sitting around, just like waiting for her direction. And it didn't matter what was going on. They were there and they were responsive. They didn't even know her a day before.
Right.
Bang. On site. It was the craziest thing. And then I see you guys together after. I'm like, you're like, oh yeah, this is my wife. You introduced me. I was like, that's crazy. That's amazing. And
she's different, man.
We love them. Cal and I talk about it all the time. Yeah.
She's special, man.
She really is. That's crazy. You know, because you look at a story like yours, it's 1% of the 1% of the 1%. Like people don't get to have that experience. You know what I mean? Like A, the story, B, to be at that level of athleticism, to get to the highs and the lows that you had, but also to end up on top. That's one part of your life. But, you know, the other part that people don't see is that, like, you're an amazing dad. You know what I mean? Like, looking at that aspect of you, it's like how do you balance those things together? Because you look at, you know, super athletes all around the world. You hear about these stories all the time, and I'm sure you've seen them personally, face to face, of guys that have been, you know, at the top of their area, whether it was basketball or whatever, that the second they get home, they're the worst in the league. Yeah. How do you get to the top on both?
I mean, you just know you have some people dependent on you, man. And I would say having a wife like Gianna, I mean, not being able to have to worry about things in the house. Mm-hmm. She takes care of so much. I mean, so much. So it gives me the flexibility to be able to do what I do with the boys, with my daughter, you know, while she's just taking care of the house, man. To be honest with you, it's really a 50-50 thing. It really
Super
is.
mom.
It really is, man. It is.
But see, here's the thing is that I think about as well is like, in order to get a wife like Gianna, you can't just be like, hey, I'm Paul Harris. I'm really good at basketball. That's not it. Like, women that know their worth know their worth. They don't give a shit who you are.
You're right, Jace.
They don't.
Right.
And so there's a certain aspect of, and I know you're going to be humble about it, but where you need to deserve a woman like that in your life. And what do you think that was for you? Because, again, like, you can have everything in life, but if you don't have your family, what do you have? And when I look at somebody like you and I look at the way that you interact with your kids, like, you're a great dad. I have a great dad. Like, it impacts the world in a way that you have no idea. But in order for you to do that, like you said, you have your other half there. But what did you do to deserve that other half? What do you think that it was about you that made you deserving of a wife like that?
To be honest with you, I don't even know if I did deserve it. I don't even know, Jay. I'm not even going to sit up here and lie to you and be like, yo, man, I deserve. I don't know if I did deserve it. Who am I to say that I deserved it? Mm-hmm. I just know that when I seen her, I never said this. I never told anybody this. When I seen her, I told her I was going to marry her. I said that. Like this, I promise you. And it was like the craziest thing. Like I would never say anything like that. I told her that. And when I seen her, the crazy thing how we met is she was rooming with one of my cousins. Happened to be this funny story. So I lived close by my cousin, and I seen her walking in one day. And so I was like, I went over there, and I had seen her, saying hi, just really looking around. And then so my cousin used to braid my hair. So what I did was I took my hair out, and I went over there and got my joint braided. So I went over there, got my joint braided, and then so I was like talking to her, and then
that's too good.
Yeah, so they were just like,
Paul's out here making moves.
Yeah,
I'm braiding his hair.
Oh man,
that's hilarious.
So next thing you know, man, we 12 years, man. But that's my other half.
That's crazy. You know what's crazy about you guys that Cal and I really pick up on as well is that you guys never complain. You never complain. Like, all jokes aside, like, you take a look at the couples that really got their stuff together, that they really connect. They have a good family. They have kids that respond to them. Not because they're afraid of, being in timeout, but because they respond to their parents. Like, there's a certain energy that comes along with that. And when you look at the dynamic between you two and you look at the dynamics with your kids, it's like people take that for granted. I'm sure your kids one day will really understand when they get older and look back on it, and especially looking at whoever their peers are and their friends are when they notice that they have it really, really good. Not because you're better off than you were growing up because you're in a nicer neighborhood or they can have the 10 pairs of sneakers without selling the drugs or gambling, but because they have two parents that are the rocks in their life. And honestly, like, I don't even know why I brought that up. I really more so just to acknowledge you and appreciate you for that, because it's like, it goes a long way. Because
that's actually kind of something, like, I don't want to say, it's almost like a rule in the house that I've tried to teach to kids, not to complain. I really, really am big on that, like, not to complain, man, because you gotta find ways to be grateful for everything. So even, I talk with with Mason. Even if he have a good game, right? You have a good game, say somebody else doesn't have a good game. I don't want you coming to me saying, if this person played better, they did this, we went. Like, nah. That's not how dad roll. Like, what could you have done? If you want to be the leader, you want to be that guy one day, what could you have done to help that person do that, to contribute to the team, to help you win? That's what you need to find out. So even sometimes when they may have, it could be a valid thing that they complain about. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yo, Don't be like everybody else, yo.
It doesn't serve you.
Yeah, don't be like everybody else. Nope. Don't be like them, man.
You think that has anything to do with your perspective of growing up to where you are now?
No, to be honest with you, Jace, I'm going to be honest with you. That's something that always been with me since a little kid. Like, always. I'm talking about since a kid. And I wasn't taught that because there was times, like, for instance, you take my high school team. Nobody on my high school team in 2 years scored 30 points. Now, I'm talking about a team that ended up having 7 players go Division I, 2 All-Americans. I ended up being All-American, second team All-USA Today, never scored 30 points. So my father, he came to me one day. He said, man, like, he's like, yo, buddy, I want to see you just go for 50 one game. He's like, I know you can do it. Just one game. He like, why won't he just keep you in the game? Because I never played fourth quarters. Like, we would be up 65 points.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play. My dad didn't like it. So I told him, I said, Daddy, listen, don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to leave a legacy, man. Don't worry. I need everybody. So I would pass up certain shots just to make sure, because I knew our schedule. We went independent. We played an independent schedule, playing a number 2 team in the country. Number 4, you playing at these tournaments, and we had a tournament, and you got Wayne Ellington, North Carolina, Gerald Henderson, Duke, Lewis Williams, straight out of high school to the league, Montel Webster, straight out of high school to the league, Spencer Hall to the NBA. We in this big tournament in Florida, in Little Niagara Falls, win the whole tournament. We beat everybody. The whole, like, it was just unbelievable. End up being number 1 in the country. If you look it up, we were tied with Oak Hill for number 1 in the country. 2005? 2005. Niagara Falls, 48,000 people. So when I say this, when I tell people, like, the same approach that I did with my high school team and my AU team, I'm taking that same approach with my son's team now. And I'm letting them know, like, listen, if you guys buy in to this, but it has to be a buy-in. It has to be a buy-in. It does. Some games you might get 10, some games you might get 25 because of how unselfish our team is. If it's that person's night that night, then it's their night. But I'm telling you, if you guys stick together and you keep moving up how you are and put the work in, you're going to have people coming to watch you. And I realized that. I was like 16, and I remember coming to the game. We played in New Jersey at Seton Hall. And I remember seeing 2 college coaches before the game. Then I remember seeing like 6 college coaches. Then it was like 12. I'm like, yo, they're all at our game, right? And then I remember seeing Rivals.com. They were there. They took my picture before the game, right? So I said to myself, they didn't know nobody on my team yet. They didn't know these guys. It was only me. I was the only one ranked, only one known. So all of these coaches, they come in to see me, but I knew I only can go to one school, Jace. I only can go to one school. So we brought it in. I said, listen, the first 4 plays we run in this play is for Lazar Haywood. First 4 plays. And my AAU coach, I'm like, the first 4 plays, Jay, is for Lazar. We running it. I said, you get it, you shoot it. The next time you shoot it again, you shoot it again. Because he was a great shooter. We bring it in, we run the play. He hit 3 threes straight. I remember they end up calling him sharpshooter from upstate. Lazar Haywood, he goes to Marquette. He's known. He ended up playing NBA. Not saying that I'm the one that helped him. It was just I understood I understood the responsibility that God gave me. I understood it like, yo, this is not just for me. I can't go get 50 points every game. No, let me showcase what we got here, yo. We got some guys here, man. I got a mob. End up having, over that span, 10 guys went D1. 10 from a small AAU team. But when you come together like that and you make the sacrifice, all it takes is to get one coach to be at the game and you just shoot a good percentage. And now you're on their radar. Oh, who's that guy? I came to see him. Who's that shooter? And that's how it is, word of mouth, word of mouth. So I've been telling this AAU team, like these guys are special, Jay. Like I'm telling you, I'm not one of those people or those parents who put extra on it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be honest. But I seen these guys the last year. I'm like, yo, this is a special group, man. I'm telling you, man. And there's a reason that these kids are ranked now 19th in the country. And I'm talking about we going to these tournaments, Jay, and we're playing great teams, and we're winning by 20, 25. Against these teams are good teams. But I'm like, yo, the way how they are so unselfish, and on the defensive end, they buy in. Because everybody, what they want to do is, everybody want to score 25, 30. But there's so many kids out there that's averaging 25 and don't get no looks. Because at the end of the day, it's about winning, and it's about winning at a high level. Not just regular tournaments. You got to go be challenged. And these kids are being challenged right now, and they doing something special, man. I'm telling you, man, they're going to, listen, man, you're gonna hear about this group for some years to come, man, honestly.
And just for the people listening, how old are they?
12, and that's another thing. And that's another thing, Jace.
Because I feel like if I'm listening to this podcast, just not like knowing what I know, I'm assuming, oh, these kids are like high school ballers. Maybe they're about to go into college next year. No.
Yeah, and this is the crazy thing. They are all 12 and under. But here's the thing. Nowadays, these kids, like they are all 6th grade. These kids nowadays are 15 in the 6th grade. They reclassing. So I had to put that out there. These kids are all legit. We are 12 and under. We don't have kids that's 2 years, that's reclassed twice. We don't have that here. You know, so we doing it the right way as well, man. So, yeah, man, they special, man. For the talented 12U team, man, this is a special group, man. Honestly.
It's insane.
Yeah, so they'll see them tonight, actually.
So they're playing at halftime?
Yeah, they're at halftime tonight.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's so cool. I'll be sure to film them. That's really cool.
They're excited about
That's
it.
awesome. That's awesome. These Central guys are freaking ballers too, man.
I heard, man. Dude, I've been seeing.
Dude, crazy.
Wow.
Like, crazy.
Is it a lot of local guys?
No. I don't even know. Not really sure where they're all from.
Okay.
We got Kellen Amos. He's from Texas.
Okay.
He's amazing. I mean, the whole team has been gelling really well. Although the issue is like they're inconsistent, especially towards the end of games. Like especially if we have a lead, we'll be up 10 at the half, and then we'll be down 10, and then we'll come back and win by 1 the last second. It's just like they get complacent.
How's the fan base?
It's pretty good, honestly. Like this is actually the girl that was talking to us before you came back. Mm-hmm. She was mentioning this too. Last year when I came to some of the games, this is kind of before I was filming, and the stands were pretty spattered. Not really many people in the stands. But this year, and I think definitely part of it's the fact that now that we're the powerhouse in our league, but Cal and I have just been pumping out content for all the students.
No.
And I think we played a decent role, and that's what she said. She said, a lot of the students have been looking at the content that we've been putting out after each game, and it makes them be like, oh my God, look at that alley-oop, look at this, look at that. They're like, we're missing the show. And now it's getting kids to fill it more and more. And over the span of just even this season alone, each game we've progressively gotten more and more busy with the fan base. So it's pretty good. It's good. And I'm happy to play some sort of role in that. Cal plays a huge role in that. And the organization as a whole plays a huge role in that. We play our role. It's not like we can be like, CJ Media did it. No, I think we play an important role, and I'm glad we're doing that. But, it starts with the players, and then it starts with the organization, and then it trickles down to people like us that can really help try and drive these things home. So I'm glad we can play a role in that. What is it that you wanted to show specifically for the talented guys? You said was it the envelope or something?
No, that's well, funny story. I never shared this story right here, Chase. This is one that really
exclusive look with Paul.
This has never been shared. So, I never took. How you get 5 visits, you get 5 official visits to college. I never took no official visit to no other school but Syracuse. So I didn't even take it just to be like, oh, yo, let's just, go to Florida just for a free vacation or something. I never did it. But the Fab Five, I don't know if you remember the Fab Five from Michigan. Mm-hmm. It was Chris Webber, Jalen Rose. They had you would hear about it. It was the Fab Five, Michigan. It was really, really great. 5 freshmen. They almost won a national championship. So, Ohio State was trying to create the Fab Five again. And so the Fab Five was going to be Greg Oden, Mike Conley, Daquan Cook, David Lively. They all went to Ohio State that year, 2006. They all went. And the last person was going to be Paul Harris. So I remember they came to Buffalo, private plane. I didn't show up.
Nah.
I didn't show up. And I still have the letter right here, Jace. It's the letter, man. 2004, Ohio State, yo. It was going to be the Fab Five. And that year, they went to the national championship. Against Florida, Ohio State went to the national championship. But Cuse, man, I went to the Cuse. I'd do it all over again. I'll go to the Cuse again, man.
I love that.
That's just me, man. That's just me.
I love that.
But, that was a great team, and it was supposed to be
that is a crazy story.
Again, yeah. And I didn't go. I didn't show up. Yep.
You didn't even have doubts? Not in your head? You weren't like, there wasn't some serious battle in your head of like?
I mean, one thing about me, I am a loyal person.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with the assistant coach, how he was, Mike Hopkins, how he was recruiting me. He was a great recruiter. He was at all of my games. I'm talking about like I would do a move and dunk, and he would be literally on the floor. Like, oh, did you see that guy? That's my guy. That's Paul Harris. He's going to Syracuse next. Like, so he was always the guy for me, man. And then on top of that, you have the Hall of Famer, Boeheim. Mm. So you have Boeheim. Yeah, I remember Melo. Melo called me. He called me like I don't know if it was maybe my senior year before I went to prep school. He called me. And he was just, we just chopped it up, and I would just ask him questions about Cuse and stuff like that. But when he called, I remember I was with like my teammates, and I was like, "Yo, this Melo, put him on speaker, So then it was like real exciting. That was another reason to go to Cuse to see Melo, what he did as a freshman.
Yeah, the more I hear your story, the more I because obviously you and I grew up very, very differently. For a multitude of reasons. But it's impressive to see that none of this really got to your head. Like the level of humility that you just walk around with is crazy. Like, and I was talking about this with Callie actually yesterday when we were talking about you coming on today. I was like, like you look at any example that you need to really express the level that you were on as an athlete. Like you don't boast about any of it. You don't brag about it. You don't flex any of it. You talk about it openly when it comes up in conversation, it comes up, but it's not like I'm Paul Harris. It's very like, this is my story. This is what happened. These were my experiences. Do with it what you will. What do you think it was about you that really didn't allow any of that to get to your head? Because I feel like, especially after like being in the magazine, getting a letter from how many schools, all of them, to play wherever you want. For a kid like you, like you're in high school, you're on top of the world. How do you not let that get to your head?
I would say, man, like my mother, grandparents, my parents, they always were like giving people. I always seen that, so I never wanted to have more than the people I was with. So I would never be like, yo, I got this and you don't, I want you to get it too. So if I ever had money, I always shared it with my friends, like just everything, man. I always was one of those people like that just, I really care about people. Like at Syracuse, I actually hung out with the managers, like all the managers, like, yo, let's just go to the mall and just hang out. Like, yo, you guys are part of it, part of this. It's not just the players. Like, you guys rebound for us and all of this. You're a part of this. Yo, we're going out to eat tonight. Well, who? Me. Just us four. Just me and three managers. We just go to the mall. Like, I love, that's just who I was, man. That's just always who I will be, honestly. It's just, I would say, I don't know, that's how God made me, and, a testament to my parents as well.
Wow.
Yeah. And I actually see that in my kids as well.
I was going to say that.
I see that a lot. Like, I do, man. I think a lot of that, too, is, they were able to travel the world. They were like little sponges, what I'm saying? Going to school in Turkey and nobody speak English.
Mm.
So you surrender your judgment. You know what I'm saying? You there, you got to figure it out. And, they have it too. And I love seeing that. I love seeing them share with other people. I love that. I love that, man.
That's
you can't
amazing.
take nothing with you when you go on, Jay. You can't, They actually at the camp, they were like, because growing up, I won 2 gold medals. I won a gold medal with Kevin Durant, and I won a gold medal with Greg Oden. I don't have them. I don't know who I gave them to, but I gave them away. My state championship ring, I don't have it. I don't know who I gave it to, but I gave it away. My Jordan Classic, Michael Jordan gave you a ring. I don't know who I gave it to, but I gave it away. My first ever plaque, I was 10 years old. I won a shootout plaque, and as soon as I got it, it meant so much to me, but I knew it would mean more to my grandmother. I gave it to my grandmother, my first ever. So I never kept, like, none of my jerseys, unless I had multiples. I always did, even at the camp. My kids was like, yo, wait, Dad, you giving that one? I'm like, nah, it's all right, don't worry. I got a couple stash for you as well, but, it just, I don't know, man. It's just something about seeing. How often do you get a chance to put a smile on somebody's face, man? How often do we? And you get those opportunities, man. It goes a long way, Jace. I believe so, man. I do, man. I really do, man. It's one thing when people do it, when people do it and they doing it for the attention, meaning they have to film it, like you giving this to this person, you have to, you know what I'm saying? It's different ways in doing it, man. And only when you just doing it in this peer, man.
For the right reason.
Yeah, only you really know. Only you know. And if it's for the right reason and you feel that way, man, you go with your heart. Go with your heart, man. Don't think twice. It is what it is.
That's what it means to give.
That's what it means to give, Jace.
That's what it means to contribute.
You're right. I agree. You're right.
In the definition of giving, there is no receiving. There is no, videographer filming it so you can post it so that you can show how you're giving to the homeless, or you're helping somebody out. It's like, if you're helping somebody out, you're helping somebody out.
You're right.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's freaking wild.
Yeah, man.
The other thing I actually definitely wanted to talk about too, because one of the things that I grew up with, and it's the reason why I'm saying this is because it's on a very micro scale compared to where you were as an athlete. My dad was a hell of a soccer player growing up, and me growing up, I mean, it was so different. My dad grew up in the south end of Hartford in the 80s, so like his childhood was crazy, like a ton of siblings in a house. Like, it was just like the way he grew up and the way I grew up with a mom and a dad that were always around, that were there to help me in Wethersfield, Connecticut. It never had to worry about where my next meal was coming from. Always had shoes on my feet. Like, like the problems that he had to deal with were incomparable to what I had to deal with growing up. Like, not even the same stratosphere. But soccer was kind of his outlet. And, his friends, I remember growing up when I was younger, his friends would always talk about how good he was, and there was a couple pictures of him in the paper in high school and stuff. But he was, he was all over the place. He wasn't like, really focused on really getting there, but he was one of the guys. Like, that was, on the micro scale, people, he was one of the players. And I was never that. I was never even top half of like the kids in my age group, like growing up. And there was always a sense of like, I'll never be as good as my dad was. And like, it would always eat at me. And I don't even think I've ever told him about that. And he would, knowing him now, he'd be like, oh, you're stupid. You have no idea. You're probably better than I was. Like, he'd probably just say that. But there was always that feeling in my head of like, I'll probably never be as good as he was. Like, ever. Just hearing the way that his friends talked about him, I know my friends will never talk about me that way because I wasn't that good. I was good. I got way better my senior year going into college. But like, growing up, especially in high school, I'll never touch the micro legacy that he left. I want to know what you feel like in terms of how you plan on parenting. We'll see where Sebastian and Mace go. It really seems like it just depends on where they want to go with their athletic career. But the chances aren't that they're gonna reach that same level. Like, just by odds, like just purely genetics. Even if they work as hard as you can, like there's just certain boundaries that like God didn't bless you with this ability. God gave everybody the same ability. Like, your ability to play basketball is going to be Mason's ability to do something else. Or maybe it's basketball. Maybe he'll be better than you. Who knows? But if he ends up in a spot where he feels that way of like, I can't live up to, Paul Harris legacy that he's left, what are you going to do? Or have you thought about that? Like, how do you reconcile that kind of thought process that, at least for me as a kid, like that really ate at me growing up. Like, I can't live up to this. Like this standard that's unconscious is just kind of set on me because that's my dad and this is the legacy that he left. Do you think about that at all? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think about it, and I actually, one of the things that, we do in my house is we don't really talk about like other players unless they're like on our team. That's one of the things Mason and them knows. Like, they don't come to me and say, oh, we play such and such, he's ranked, he's this. No. They talk about themselves, and you be who you are. Because when these kids, you get caught up into looking at other people and comparing yourself to other people, that's when you don't reach your full. Mm-hmm. So far as him trying to live up to me, I tell him, you got to be you. Be who you are. Be you. Like Sebastian, he loves, who his favorite player is? Sebastian's favorite player is Patrick Ewing. And it's like, you're like, where's that? Like, yo, he played in the, 20, 30 years ago. Yeah. But he loves old school players. Be you, Bash. You like him. He likes watching Patrick Ewing. He wants to mimic his game after Patrick Ewing. Be who you like, man. Do what you like. No, I want him to be them. No, be you. And I always praise them, but I bring them down when they're supposed to be down. Like the principles, the morals, and the values stay the same across the board. But there's different ways how I motivate one child. I don't believe you can talk to everybody the same.
Right.
I don't believe that. But I mean, the principles, the morals, and the values have to stay. That's standard.
Yeah.
But how I might say something to Mason, I know I probably can't say it to Sebastian. There's certain ways I know what makes them tick.
Right.
And that's very, very important, not just in parenting, but as a teammate, I had to learn my big man different from my point guard. You know what I'm saying? He's a little sensitive, but all right, okay. So I'm going to have to come at him like, yo, something good first. Yo, that was a dime right there. But, yo, on the back door, when I go, but the big man, I'm coming, yo, man, you got to go. It's just different. And once you learn, that's great leaders. You learn everybody around you. You learn them. Like, yo, all right. But you always got to remember the principles, the morals, and the values that's a standard. You cross those, that's different. You know, so that's very, very important, I believe. So I try to make sure when I'm talking to them, you know, I just find what makes them tick and, you know, how I come at them in certain ways.
I love that. You and your wife both put the truth at the top. And I really admire that about you guys because it's like, especially in today's society, you know, it's cliche to say everyone's gone soft, whatever. I'm not even old enough to really make that statement. But one of the things that I really don't like about today's society is that we tell everyone that, you know, you're okay the way you are. Like the way you are right now is perfectly fine and you're totally good. It's like, it needs to be stated with precision, man.
Yeah,
it's like,
I agree, Jay.
It's like, you're not.
I agree.
Like, are you going to tell Mason that?
No, I don't. And you know,
it's like,
I don't even tell his teammates that. We just played. We played in the tournament. We just played. It just happened. First game, they played great. They won. Second game, they won, but they didn't play great. And we let them know, like, yo, if you can't certain things, not just a regular win. Were you guys trying to go where you want to be? I know where you want to be. This is what it takes. You got to be consistent. You got to be on the same page. They came right back the next day and dominated. It's like, I don't want to be that person. Yeah, it was, you know, you guys, no. So I'm like, some people will be like, yo, you hard on your kids. Like, yo, I know what they want. If you tell me that this is not what you want, we don't have to do this. You know, like Sebastian, like a lot of different things. He like chess. He like all of these other things that I never did. I never even thought about doing growing up. And I let him, okay, I'll let you. You want to try it out? I'll let you try it out. But don't tell me you want to play soccer or basketball. And I'm like, yo, how are you trying to do? Are you doing this for fun?
right.
Or are you like, you love this?
Or do you want to be the best?
You love it? Okay, this is what we got to do. We got to get up 5:30. What do you mean? We got to get up at 5:30. You got to get ahead of the competition. You got to get a work ethic early. So if you getting up at 5:30 and then you come back later, you getting 2-3 workouts in and every other kid is getting maybe one, you know how further you will be in a year or two? You'll start seeing the separation. Like I used to go to the YMCA and my mom, this is a true story. Like I would go there on Saturday mornings and in the summertime. 8 in the morning. They open at 9. So I'm sitting in the hallway just waiting. I got to wait an hour. I'm sitting in the hallway right there. So I would, you know, yo, can I use the bathroom? Just so I can go and look in the gym. And just can't wait. I got like 40 more minutes. So I'm just looking. You know what I'm saying? The door is locked. I'll pull the door. No, it's locked. You know, but I'm near. As soon as they open, I'm the first. When I say the first one, I'm the first one there, right? Don't leave till 9 at night. So I'm near. Think about that. I'm near at 9 in the morning, 9 at night. I'm standing. I'm swimming. I'm doing weights. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just in there all day. My mom bringing me food, wrapped up in aluminum foil, bringing my plate. It's right there. Forget to eat. I forget. It's over there. It's cold. It's 6 o'clock. I didn't eat nothing. I didn't play like Everybody that walked in the gym, I played them in one-on-ones. I done went swimming. And I'm doing this over and over and over. And then I started seeing separation. You start to see it. And then on top of that, I was growing. I was getting bigger. It was like, yo, I was getting my athleticism kicking in. You start to see the separation when you put the work in. You got to make the sacrifice. And anything it is, you got to make the sacrifice. You got to give up. You're going to have to give up some social media. You're going to have to give up sometimes with your boys. You're going to have to give it up, yo. It's a difference, man. It is, Jace, man. You'll see, man.
You know, it's one of the weird things, you know, I actually really wanted to ask you about, especially because I can't even imagine what it was like going from high school to college to pro. One of the things that I'm going through now, especially with like my old friend group that I grew up with, is, you know, these past couple months especially have been really pivotal for the business. And, you know, this summer and then kind of before the summer, I had, you know, uncertainties like, are we going to make it? Are we going to actually do this? Are we have to, you know, ditch the business and do something else? Like, what is my life going to look like for the next year? And really over the past 3 months has been the solidifying certain feeling in my chest of like, no, this is going to work. Like, we're making it happen, like, for sure. And within the next couple of years, I don't know where I'm going to be, but I'm going to be at a level that I didn't even imagine I was going to be a year ago. And the hard part right now is that I'm getting pushback from the guys that I grew up with because I can't chill with the boys anymore. I'm not going out anymore. I'm not partying anymore. I'm not doing the stupid stuff anymore. Like, just whatever we were doing, like the fun, good old days. It's different now. But now I'm getting that pushback. And it's not bad, and a lot of them are supportive. A lot of them are fake supportive because they're jealous or whatever. But it's hard because I have to sit here and I have to, you know, when I'm going and I'm filming the basketball doubleheader, and then I have to edit till 4 a.m, and then I have to wake up at 8 to go to the gym so that I can film again, and it's just repeat. I don't know how to handle that situation besides to just kind of take a step back. Like, I don't really know what to do. And my question to you is like, what did you do in that? Because it's obvious that you must have had to do the same thing, especially with the kind of habits and behaviors that you were indulging in high school and occasionally in college. Like, growing apart from that, what was your way of dealing with that, especially with, you know, I'm assuming there must have been a few characters or old friends that really gave you pushback, and when you were trying to get better, how did you deal with that?
Well, what I will say is, at first, it's hard, Jace. It's hard, man, because it's like, yo, like, you love those people. So me, especially being a Libra, like, I want to make everybody happy, balancing everything. So the younger me, I didn't do it right. I didn't. Because I was trying to do all of that, save all those relationships, doing all of that, and it was hard. But once I got married and I went overseas, like, people seen me at Syracuse, but Paul Harris overseas, Syracuse Paul Harris, he couldn't touch me. I was too mentally tough. My skill level got better. I was so locked in. I learned how to eat better. I learned so much how to take care of myself. I was just so far ahead, and people don't even understand that. And what I realized is like, yo, man, people, they come into your life for seasons, man. Like, I heard of that, but it's like, yo, that really be true, yo. Like, I couldn't save those late relationships. I knew I had to really lock in on my family and my wife. I had to, man. I had to. And I really, like, when I say I locked in, like, I locked in. Like, I was so locked in. Those grinds over there are 10 months when I'm overseas. Like, my routine was my routine. Like, I had a strict routine. Like, I would go overseas and I would go to a restaurant that has great fish, and I would pay them for the month, because that's how I changed my diet. So I'm paying a restaurant. This is the type of fish I want. The salmon, this is what I want for the whole month. I know when I'm coming after practice, I went out, got a masseuse. Paid them for the month. This was my routine. Got a membership. Even if it's far away, I got sauna, hot tub, cold tub. I got all of this. I invested in my body, and I'd be just like this. It just was boom, boom, my root. And then you started to see like my relationship with my wife got even closer. The way how I was performing. Like I was in Turkey. I would have been the first person ever, 6'3", I think it was 6'3" or 6'4" and under, to lead the Turkish league, the top league in Turkey, where you have guys like the guy from Bogdanovich from what's his Trae Young team. He was over there. A lot of guys that's in the NBA right now was over in Turkey that year. And I'm having a great year, Jay. I'm talking about like averaging like 17 and almost 10 in Turkey. And this is the second best league in the world at the time. But my routine was just like, I was locked in. I'm talking about like on days, like we would have days off. And you just got to come in and get treatment. Guys come in, walk in. I'm drenched in sweat, working out. They're like, we had practice? I forgot my stuff. They're like, no, that's just Paul. He worked. He's like, what is he doing? He just played 39 minutes last night. But I was so locked in, Jay, man. I did all that extra, I started on the court, man. I would see guys, actually, I would hear them getting tired. Like, I got them. All of the swimming, they was doing interviews with me like, what are you doing to be getting 18 rebounds over here in Turkey? It was like, I was just so focused, man. I have no distractions, Jay. None of the distractions I grew up with at Syracuse, none of that. I had none of those distractions. I was far away and just gym, home. We go out as a family. We like to, we do a lot of traveling, so we go to the parks, just everything. We like to be outside a lot, so we're going up in mountains, and that's it. Just straight family, team, practice. And I was just locked in. I was like, man. I was just in so much shape. I'm like, goodness. So now I'm learning all of this, and that's why when I have the camp, the Do It All Elite camp, I'm bringing the cold tubs. I'm bringing a nutritionist. You guys may not get this right now. You're 12 years old. You're 13 years old. Some of you guys are 11. You may not get it, but you take a little bit now, and then a little bit next year, you're going to be ahead of me. It took me until I was 20, maybe 24, to put all of that together. Like my peak years overseas, people who really know who was there, they know. It's like, and I'm not somebody who talks about it or be like, I was this, but I had some great years, and even Syracuse fans wouldn't even know that was me. They wouldn't even know, like, that's Paul Harris. It was two different players shooting 40% from three. Like, they wouldn't even know, but I put work in, Jay. And you doing what you doing, you got to stay locked in and put the work in. Some people might not gonna like it, or you might lose relationships. You might do. And that's okay, And for me, to you, this is really from my heart. I mean this. Like, I know y'all gonna be successful. I know you are. I really, like, when I say this, I'm saying this because I really believe that. And once I seen you one time, because of the work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you going out getting top-notch equipment. You ain't trying to cheat the game. You ain't trying to skim off the top. Like, nah. I know this is the best, and I'm giving the people the best. So you keep giving the people the best like that, and eventually they're gonna come. They're gonna come. People thought I was crazy. Man, what are you bringing? Or what do you want to have a sauna at the camp for? I went to a guy. I remember I was going everywhere, Jay, for sponsorship. Man, I was like, we getting ready to have a camp. I'm going all out. Like, I treated it like I was playing. Like, I'm talking about, Jay, I'm waking up 8 a.m, driving all over, going everywhere for sponsorship. And I went to one guy. I remember, I know where he at too. I know what he looked like too. Went to him. And he was a basketball guy too. I'm like, man, I'm having a camp. telling them, I played over here. I did this. This is what I'm trying to bring to the camp. I want to get, some hot tubs, cold tubs. I'm out with nutrition. He like, I think that. What is that gonna do? Kids today, that's just because he doesn't understand it. Most people don't. He like, nah, that ain't gonna work. I'm sorry, man. I'm like, nah, but look, listen, man. It's social emotion, all of that. It's all into one. What I'm bringing here, this is all in one. He like, sorry, I gotta pass on that, buddy. I'm like, all right, I just will respect. Thank you, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. But then he heard about it. He heard about the camp. Like, yeah, when I seen him again, I heard, you had one of my buddies had his son sign up. He said he had a line of kids trying to get in some cold water or something like that. I'm like, yeah, that's, I appreciate that. Like, I'm just trying to give these guys and young lady, like a professional, how professionals approach it. At 8 years old, middle school, high school, right now. If you can get this now, it took me, I was 3 years in, 4 years in. I just kept learning from different vets. What do you do? What supplements you take? What vitamins you take? What protein? Why do you get in that cold water? I didn't get in it really in college. Why do you, quick recovery. Why do you lift why do you lift after a game when you have a back-to-back? Why do you do that? And then they would see me running on these treadmills all the time, all my teammates. They would see me. I'd be in Turkey, France, Italy, the Philippines. They would see me going to the sauna every day. I'll be asking guys. Nobody will come. Then they'll start to see the year pick up, practice, 2-a-days. I'm running how I am, the games, and next thing you know, I'm in there, 1 player, 4 players, the coach in there with me, the general manager. I'm in Turkey, trap zone Turkey with the general manager and the coach in the sauna with me. True story. Everybody in there with me. I'm coming in there with my essential oils. They all like, hey, Paul, you got that peppermint today? Seriously, this is how it is. Yeah, I got it. We all, after practice, we all go up. So now everybody we going as a team now. You know what I mean? Because they understand. Like, so when I say this stuff, like, I actually have over a decade of experience with this, man. And the stuff that I'm giving the kids, man, if you watching and you follow me on the social media, and you just take a little bit of that, man, it's gonna help. If I was a professional trainer, I'm gonna tell you now, man, listen, or if I got with somebody who was able to work out with kids, I mean, I don't always, the reason why I don't always like people like, yo, are you training? Sometimes, like, what will mess with me is I know, Jace, what it takes not to make it. I don't know what it takes to make it, but what it takes to give yourself a chance. And if kids and parents want to come and work out once a week and be like, I'll work out with Paul Harris, and you work out with me once a week, that ain't going to cut it with me, Jace. Like, if you think you're trying to attract Division I coaches in the future, that's your goal. You want to be able to try to go Division I. Once a week, even twice. Like, you got to be really willing to make sacrifice, yo. You have to. You have to, because, Jace, listen, I was overseas. I'm in France. I see school building right there, the gym right here, the dorm right there. They waking up before school, training in France. Shower, go to school. Lunch, eat lunch, training. Go right back across the street, finish school. After school, practice. That's why when you turn on the NBA draft, what do you hear? Names you don't even know. Overseas. Luka Doncic, Giannis, Jokic, overseas. These guys are getting the fundamentals at an early age, and they have a work ethic. So if you want to give yourself a chance at this, not even to make it, just give yourself a chance, a fair chance. Just want a chance. You want a chance? This is how you train. This is what you do. This is how you work out. Game speed. Practice should be harder than the games. So we practice for the talented 12U, it's harder than the games. Most teams, what they do, all right, we at the end of practice. Let's get on the line. We come right in from right in. We on the line off the gate. On the line, we running right away. 10-minute run. Let's go. What do you mean? No, this what y'all want? Y'all want to be ranked one day? You want college coaches to be in this gym one day? You got to be in great shape. And it shows. It shows how fast these kids are playing, the speed, the tempo. It's like, yo, this is how you give yourself a chance, man. So that's why sometimes I be thinking like, yo, like, do I train, you know? But if it would have to be like, yo, listen, if you're going to do this with me, this is the type of schedule. I'll give you the schedule. Today is a recovery day. It's your day off. You know what you do on your day off? You go in a pool. That's a day off. Pool when you're stretching in the pool on the day off. So you're not really having a day off. That's what it takes. You looking at Steph Curry, you look at LeBron James, they're not just only shooting. These dudes are eating right. It's you know what I'm saying? And I learned about that early. I learned about it. And to be honest with you, overseas, some of the stuff I do, just not to toot my horn, some of the guys overseas don't do the stuff that I have done. They're not going swimming all the time. Like I'm swimming, like I be doing some extra stuff. Jay, so it's like, yo, really, you doing that? Like we get into cities. Once we land, as soon as we land, wherever we land at, any country I'm at, I ask them, do they have a sauna at the hotel? Sorry, sir, there's no sauna here. Okay, do you know where the closest one is? Yeah, it's probably 30 minutes. Okay, can I have an Uber at 4? It's me. This is what I do. That's my routine. And then teammates hear about, yo, you really went? Yeah. Now the next time, I got my teammate, my man Rail. He's coming with me now. We in Italy. He's taking the Uber with me because you understand the benefits. You understand how you feel getting on those planes. Once you on those airplanes and on a long bus ride, you got to stretch. You got to flush yourself out, all of that stuff. It matters, yo. And that's some of the things I learned. That's what I want to continue to keep sharing across the world. Just keep sharing it. Like, yo, take care of yourself, guys. And then at the same time, the benefits of the sauna, like stress relief, quick muscle recovery, like all of this stuff that the sauna has, I didn't even know at first. I'm just doing it to do it and found out like, yo, this joint help my mood. I'm good. My energy be right, you know. And then on top of that, I'm coming in there with tea tree and lavender and, you know, all of this stuff, man. It's a whole different, yo, Jay. I come to certain gym, not lying, yo. I come to like LA Fitness, yo. I walk in and like, yo, dudes ask me, I'm either at LA Fitness or Valley Fitness. They be like, yo, you going sauna or you working out? I'm only doing sauna. All right, I'm done with my workout. I'm coming right in there with you. No, they be like that though, Jay. Serious, yo. Like really, yo. And I be telling them like, yo, I have been across the world. They charge a lot for this treatment that we just blessing the world with, yo. Like I've been doing this for over like 12 years. I'm talking about I keep it with me in my trunk right now. In my trunk, I keep a bag of gym stuff and all my oils. No matter where I'm going, Jay, no matter where I'm traveling to, I done been to random gyms all over. Because wherever I go, I got to find one. You know what I'm saying? I might have a 5-hour drive, and I got to find, like, yo, is there a sauna somewhere close by? Or you know what I'm saying? I know what it does. I do, man. I understand. And when you live it like that, it just become a routine. No matter what you're doing, where you at, that's my routine, yo.
No excuses.
Yeah, it ain't no time. Yo, it's late. I'm gonna find it. I be in the sauna 1 o'clock in the morning sometime. In the sauna, yo. 1 o'clock in the morning. Really.
Get it in.
You do, man. You do.
I think one of the big issues, especially for a lot of kids that I've noticed, especially with my age group, is that they are looking around for some sort of opportunity where it's going to just be pain-free.
Yes.
There's no friction. Yeah. They're just motivated all the time, or they're just going to feel great just doing whatever it is that they're doing. It's like I don't know where you're getting this idea that everything's just going to be amazing and that you're just going to wake up at 4 a.m. You're just going to be motivated and the pillow's not going to be soft and you're not going to be warm. And when you take that first step on the ground, it's cold and it feels awful and you don't want to keep going and you didn't get enough sleep and whatever excuse, throw it in.
Right.
That's not the point.
Right.
And I think it's a big caveat in your story, especially because it's like you talk about all these things. It's like it's easy to look at that and listen to this podcast when we're sitting here and we're just chilling, and to think that that's Paul Harris and he's just motivated to do that shit all the time. It's like, really? Like, is that what you think? Right. You think when you jump in the cold tub that the ice isn't making you shiver and that your breath isn't getting lost? Like, is that really what you think? Do you think that you're waking up before camp when you have like a 12-hour day and you're working out before, like that you're just excited to do that? It's just, oh, I'm just super motivated to do that. I'm just feeling so inspired. I watched a cool YouTube video. It's like, no. Like, the alarm goes off and the clock is going tick, tick. And it sucks. And every day it sucks. And I feel like kids are looking for some sort of outlet of where it's going to be easy, or how to get the benefits of ice bath without hopping in the ice bath, or get the benefits of working out without actually lifting the weights, or get benefits of the cardiovascular endurance without hitting the bag, or whatever.
Right.
And it just doesn't exist that way. And I think kids are looking for the outlet, and they're not going to find one. And I think listening to stories like you, although very inspiring, can sometimes lead, at least it led you back in the day, used to lead me to look for that easy route. All right, great. All right, so Paul Harris did this thing. How can I get the benefits of sauna without hopping in the sauna? It's like you're just missing the point. Mm. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's just important for people to understand that, like, there is no easy route.
It's not, Chase. It's not, man. It's not easy at all, man. But it's worth it at the end, man. It's just worth it at the end. It is. It is, man. And you gotta make those sacrifices, man. You have to. Like what you doing. Like what you're doing. Having back-to-back days, games, and over here. But it's gonna pay off, man. And I seen that in you and Cal. I seen that work ethic. Like, you the first one there in the morning at the camp, setting up early. And I seen that. I'm like, yo, and then I seen the quality. I'm like, yo, these dudes special. And I'm just going around, I'm just spreading it. Any chance I get, just spreading it. Like, yo, hey, if you ever need this, hey, yo, these guys, listen, they motivated, listen, really. And that's how you start, man. You're gonna look back 2-3 years, and you're gonna, cause you in the moment now. You going, you just going. So you don't even know what you're doing right now. You're just going. Yeah. But then eventually you'll look back like, yo, man, like, yo, this was not given to us at all. You work for it. You went to this person over here, that person got this content. It's like, man, it makes you, when you work like that, like, you appreciate it, though. Yeah. You appreciate it.
100%. Yeah, we're getting to the point, actually, where we're going to have to start hiring things out, because we're probably going to be we're projected to have probably between like 3 to 7 contracts for next year, like full-time, like being the content team for different universities and organizations and small businesses right around the state, at least. And so we're going to we have to hire it out. So we're probably going to have, hopefully, maybe a full-time employee, or maybe full-time videographers or editors or something like that along those lines. And the number one thing I'm realizing now is like it sounds stupid, but like the pushback I'm getting from my friends is like, oh, LLC owner, sorry, we can't, like, they'll make little jokes, and it's like, yeah, it's funny, but then at the same time, I'm like, there's more to it, and I just feel like it's hard for me to laugh it off, because like, they're not there on the sleepless nights. They're not there when we're literally busting our butts for a full week straight and seeing no benefit immediately and having to just wait to see where the long-term benefit's going to come in and just literally having our nose in the dirt for a year. And they're not willing to put in that work, and that's fine. But, like, hearing it from people and then hearing it, especially from your friends, has been, I don't know, it's like it's my challenge recently to try and overcome that. But,
yeah, I think, you know, one of the things that I would say that God blessed me with is understanding energy, man. Like, you know, even as I was like younger, man. And then people would wonder like why I would be hanging out with certain people. Like, what are you hanging out with the managers for? Like, if somebody got good energy, I don't care, man. If I feel it, yo, and I really feel it. I mean, I'm not always 100% right.
right.
But most of the time I feel it, man. And if it's good, I'll be there. And if it's bad, even if it's, I don't know, man, even if it's family or it's people that's close to you, man, and they ain't giving you good energy, man, I might have to leave, man. I have to go where, like, I'm respected and where people really, like, appreciate and understand what I'm doing, who's encouraging me. You know what I'm saying? Like you young, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you need to be encouraged and, like, yo, it's all right what you doing. You making these sacrifices, yo, you keep going. And I'm not just saying that to encourage you. Like, when I say that to you and Cal, I'm like, yo, y'all dope.
I don't think you understand. Like, when I've had this conversation many times, oftentimes with the same people, I could probably count on one hand of the people that I constantly mention that are like, I know when people are BSing me and when they're not. And I know because when you make it and you're successful and you have millions of dollars in the bank and CJ Media is this big thing and you made it, like, you're going to have all these claps, but they weren't there when you didn't have the claps. They weren't there when you didn't have the millions or the business name that everybody knew or whatever. Like, they weren't there during that time. And I can count on one hand of the people that, like, I don't care if you're mouthing the words, the people that are actually believing in me. And not that I think that you need to believe in me or not, like, or that, of course, I want people to believe in me because it helps me, you know, feel better about myself in the moment. But, like, to have somebody truly believe in you, just to have one person, it goes a million miles. And Cal and I have talked about this numerous times. There are very, very, very few people that I actually get that energy from, and you're one of them. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. We've talked about it. There's you, there's my dad, there's Steve, and Cal's cousin. And they're not even people that I talk to, like, all the time at all. And, like, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, like, we really, like, it's gone so far. Like, I haven't mentioned that to you, but it means a lot because, like, when the days are hard and, like, we're not making the money that I want to make, or there's wrenches thrown in the business and we don't know if it's going to work, or we feel like we're a failure, or we're stupid, or we don't know what to do. It's like you're one of the voices that plays back in my head of, like, like, people, like, see it, people believe in it, like, even when I don't believe in myself, because you have the highs and the lows where the days you're like, we're going to be the best in the world, or there's the days where, like, we're not going to make it, we're going to go bankrupt, we're going to go under. Like, you're one of the voices that plays in my head, and I actually mean that, and it's been seriously helpful for me, especially when things get rough and it's hard and the days are exhausting, and it's really helpful to have that belief because it goes a long way. And so I appreciate you for that, seriously.
No, it's really all love, Jace. I mean that, yo. I mean that, and it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning for you guys. I really believe that, yo. I do. So.
Appreciate that. We have a closing tradition on the podcast that I do with new guests. And it's a scenario, and it's a one-word answer that I need. And so here's the scenario. The scenario is, this is Paul Harris. It's his last day alive. You're on your deathbed, whenever that is, and you can't leave anything behind. There's no Instagram, there's no video, there's no podcast, there's no written word, there's nothing. Not a single trace left behind. The only thing that they get to see, like, next to your name is one word, and one word only. And it's your advice to the world. It's your message to the world. What's that one word?
It's love. Love. It's love, man. So much love in my heart, man. It's love.
I love it, man. Thank you, Paul.
My man, Jace.
Appreciate you coming on, man. Seriously.
Always This is my first one too, Jace. This is my first one.
See, you killed it. Like this is not normal. Most people that are on their first time, it doesn't really flow. It takes them a long time to kind of get in that energy. You were right at it. So
appreciate that.
You're meant for it. You're a good speaker. You really are. You have a way with words. So I strongly suggest that you do as much as you can, because not only for you, but for other people. I think the message needs to be sent, and I think the way that you deliver it, especially with your story and the ups and the downs and where you are now and who you were, especially with the fact that you're a family-oriented guy and you're loyal and you have the admirable characteristics that come along with the amazing story and the amazing feats, and your whole message, I think, needs to be shared at a much higher level. Just because, and you don't even need to do the work, but if you can become a guest, if you can go and be a guest on someone's podcast, or go and have a conversation that's filmed and recorded and put out there, I really think it's going to help a lot of people. So, I appreciate you coming on. I really think that you need, and I know you already feel this, but, there's an obligation that goes along with not only your story and your message and who you are as a person, but your ability to share that, because it's very rare to have someone that has the story and the morals and values that you have, but it's even more rare to have to be the person that can express it the right way, that can word it the right way, that doesn't ramble and go off in tangents and doesn't make sense. Like, it makes sense. It's a clear-cut story. You make it easy to follow, and it's inspiring, and I hope you can do it for other people. So,
glad to hear that, Jay.
Absolutely. Thanks, Paul. Seriously. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, man.
Appreciate it. Cool.
Ooh. Wow, that was like 2 hours. I can't believe we were
riffed,
just flowing,
man. We
yo.
riffed.
Dang.